Hi everyone, I'm Brandon and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about how automation is affecting the workforce. Now you might ask yourself, why would I care about that? But before we dive into this, I want to challenge you all to ask yourself, can a robot do your job? Can a robot replace you? But while you consider that, I want you guys to understand that technology is transforming faster than we can teach it. We are literally being outran by artificial intelligence. My reason for interest on this topic is because I am personally one of the employees that was affected with automation introduced into our workplace. And whether you realize it, your job is too. Automation affects the entire world. As a current mechanical engineering student and a full-time employee in the manufacturing industry, I'm going to explain some of the personal experiences as well as some conclusions from evaluated research on how automation is affecting the workforce. I am actually of the mind that while robotics is indeed taking jobs from the workforce, it is also creating many new opportunities for employees to gain value. Personally, I believe that this robotics thing is affecting the entire world. And as I'm speaking to my audience, I feel that the upcoming generation is by far the most vital asset to this technology transformation that we're experiencing today. I think everybody can agree that we need to be prepared for the future. The first robot, named Unimate, was actually designed in 1954 by George Devall. It was installed at a General Motors automotive plant. Since the emergence of robotics, several people have contributed their own personal opinions in the form of books, articles, statistics, and even movies. According to the International Federation of Robotics, robotic installation has increased 70% since 2006. A report from Oxford Economics predicts that over 20 million jobs will be replaced by robots by the year 2030. Now, I believe most of the audience would agree with me when I say humans love finding the easier way to do difficult things. Now, robots were genuinely designed to take over these repetitive, dangerous, and hazardous tasks. But if you're familiar with the history of human civilization, we have never stopped continuous improvement. With that being said, maybe some of you might be familiar with the Stone Age, and then the Bronze Age, all the way up to the Industrial Revolution. Now, many know about the Industrial Revolution and how machines actually took over the need for human labor. Now, I believe here we are in what many call robotics as the fourth revolution, and now that is basically the transformation of machines going to robots. I would like to open my research by introducing you guys a quote by John F. Kennedy, and he wrote, "Automation does not need to be our enemy. I think machines can make life easier for men if men do not let the machines dominate them." So as I conducted my research, I came up with some scholarly sources to provide evidence on my opinions. James Reinhart wrote in his article, "Farewell to the Factory," about a story in Linden, New Jersey in 1984 where General Motors invested $300 million to introduce robots to the assembly line. Now, as robots were introduced to this factory, 1,000 jobs were cut. Dwayne Alexander, a workforce development assistant, stated about the situation, "Many people left the plant with less than a high school diploma. Many employees that actually stayed at the factory with the automation, and for those employees left over the robotics introduction, many of them had to invest in the hybrid roles, and they were found more valuable because they could handle other workloads with less employees." Now, for the employees that were cut, many of them were offered an opportunity for vocational training to be able to come back to the workplace. Now, as I mentioned, I am actually in the manufacturing industry, and I can personally account for a situation where automation was first introduced to our workplace. And a notice was actually given that those automated robots were coming to our warehouse, and 27 people were actually cut from that department. Now, were the 27 people laid off or fired? No. The mill actually found other valuable opportunities to take those employees and transition them into roles where they would have more value. Now, it is true that a lot of manufacturing jobs are being introduced to automation. Now, what's important about this is with the capital saved by the company, they're able to invest that money into other things for more competitiveness in the marketplace. Now, a book wrote by James Evans and William Lindsay, An Introduction to Six Sigma and Process Operations. Evans and Lindsay go on to express how vital competition is for the marketplace. Now, marketplace price competition helps keep prices affordable. Sure, inflation is inevitable, but with this competition, it helps things stay more sustainable for society. Now, with companies able to manufacture the same products at a lower cost, they're able to sell those products cheaper. Robotics introduced into the workplace actually helps people afford things. Joseph Newhart, a reputable editor about automation, wrote in this article, "Artificial intelligence can spark job growth." Sounds good, right? So he states that automation has taken repetitive tasks to free us the time to explore opportunities for new advancement. And basically, what Newhart was trying to say was the more time that robots can take from us with the workload for things we no longer need to do, we're able to seek better opportunities. Newhart also goes on to mention that civil service jobs like police forces, nurses, etc. would not be possible without technology taking some kind of advancement. And by that, Newhart means that without robots taking away a lot of that repetitive task, it frees up those employees to go find more opportunities. Now, before technology really started evolving, back in the day, as you could say, a lot of people were outside tending to farms, mining. In my belief, the most imperative thing to this entire situation is that the upcoming generation receives the best education to be able to be adaptive to this new technology. Cynthia Uslan posted this article in the Yale Law Journal. It is called "What Should We Do After Work? Automation and the Employment Law." Uslan acknowledges the need for better education to be equipped for the future. She also goes on to say, quote, "There is no doubt that we need better institutions of basic and higher education and of vocational training, and restraining to equip more people for the technology adjacent to jobs that are likely to grow in the future." I can personally attest to Uslan's observations because as a mechanical engineering student, I'm also studying the importance of mechatronics. Mechatronics is the combination of electronics and mechanics, also known as robotics. And for that, I can resort back to Dwayne Alexander's statement that most people that were laid off in the New Jersey General Motors plant with 1,000 jobs did not have more than a high school diploma. With that, I believe that the introduction of automation is going to require more education requirements to be better equipped with this situation. I think it's safe to say that knowledge is obviously power. So with the evaluation of these sources and conducting my research, I would still like to pursue more facts and statistics as the world transforms in the near future. But it is obviously self-evident that robotics is starting to become more of a known feature in the workplace. So are robots essentially taking all the jobs from humanity? Of course not. Robotics is actually creating jobs. With companies seeking the need for robots, people have to build the robots, people have to sell the robots, and people have to work on the robots. My goal from this presentation was to report some positive benefits from artificial intelligence to you, as well as also discuss some of the negative aspects. I hope that it was enough to convince you that robotics is not actually a bad thing as most people assume it is. And I would like to finalize this report with another quote from John F. Kennedy. And he said, "Let us not be blind to our differences, but let us also direct attention to our common interests and to the means by which those differences can be resolved." So with that being said, I hope that we can come to the realization that no matter what, robotics will be introduced to the workforce. And I hope that this continues to improve the quality of life for many people in the future. I hope it was enough to persuade you that robotics is actually a great thing for the future of this world. Thank you for watching. Take care.